Hey, Dis After Dark listeners. I want to invite you all to join us over on Scare Zone, Halloween Horror Nights podcast. Scare Zone is a news, interview, history, and commentary podcast all about Universal's premier Halloween event. It's hosted by fans and experts like me, Logan Seculo, former WWE superstar Scotty Too Hottie, and Dis After Dark's own Chris Ripley. Subscribe however you get podcasts and head over to scarezone.com for more information. We here at the show are proud supporters of Dis After Dark. And remember, keep your eyes closed and your ears open on Scare Zone.
Warning, this show contains childish adult content and is intended for immature, mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. The views spoken are ours and ours alone, not those of any other bugger. If you're easily offended, we strongly suggest finding another podcast. Everybody neat and pretty, then on with the show.
Hello, and Happy New Year to you, dear listener, from Dis After Dark. I am Nick, and tonight's show is hosted by me in pants. American listeners, that's not trousers, that's my underwear, because I just got caught in the rain. Anyway, that might be a bit too much information for this show, so with that in mind, I'd like to welcome you to the other people that are on tonight's show. Miss BostonWhite, how are we doing?
Good. Happy New Year, everyone.
And to you as well. And what would a Dis After Dark be without somebody called Paul on it, Mr. Paul Dolan?
Hello, Happy New Year. I'm sitting here in my Christmas present. More about that later.
Oh, hello. A smoking jacket.
No.
Disappointing.
No, it's there's a Disney connection.
Oh, very good. We'll come to Christmas second, but mine was very Disney Light, actually. Not to be confused with Disney Life, obviously. So, yes, Happy New Year to you all. Before we crack on with that, what's everybody drinking?
I'm drinking my usual bud.
I heard some clinking before we pressed the record button. I did wonder. Yes. Very nice. Mr. D?
Sorry, I'm on the coffee tonight.
Coffee tonight?
Yeah, a nice cup of Joffrey's. Wish it was. It's not. Instant.
Someone's not sleeping very well. Right. I'm still cracking through the Christmas beer. Another thing I discovered over Christmas was that you don't need a fridge to keep beer cold. Or a freezer, for that matter. I use nature's fridge. My beer's been outside for weeks. It's bloody cold.
It's freezing.
It's a bottle of Coors Light, of course, and the cold and damn cold bands are both visible, which means it's bloody cold, and struggling to open it. I've got a crappy bottle opener, so anyway, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
So yes, we've had a few weeks off. We've all tried to enjoy at Christmas and spending time with our family and loved ones, and also I imagine probably time spent with people that we're supposed to love that we don't. Did we all have a lovely Christmas?
Yeah, it was so nice.
Yep, very good, thanks.
Good.
Great.
So, who wants to talk about their Christmas first?
Go ahead, Amanda.
Well, I didn't really do much. I just went back to Liverpool, but it was just nice to be with Ash. And my mum lives in the Lake District now, so she came home, I went home, and we just had such a nice time together.
Oh, that's lovely.
I loved it, but then I had to drive back up to the northeast for a few days, and then I went back home for New Year, and that was even more fun. So I just had a real nice time with Ash.
You two, for those that... I imagine most people that listen to this would have caught one of your videos by now. But for those that don't, you do seem to have a very special relationship with your sister.
Yeah, she's my bestie.
Yeah. It's really nice. I mean,
yeah.
Of sisters are friendly, but I do think with you do seem to have a bit more of a bond than a lot of sisters that I've seen.
Probably because we're so close in age, like we've just always done everything together. So if you want to be my friend, you have to be Ash's friend too, because we come as a package, says guys. But we just have so much fun together, and she is my best friend. So love you, Ash.
Oh, I feel like
And she does
playing our
listen, so
tune
I'll
or
get tweets
something.
for that. She might get me a present.
Oh, lovely. Mr. D, a little bit of a different Christmas for you this year, I imagine.
Yeah, slightly different. Yeah, pretty quiet really, because obviously youngest daughter is working in Orlando.
Yeah.
So we did a bit of Skyping on Christmas Day, and she was actually working in the Rose and Crown on Christmas Day.
AKA
So
the Mouse's Head.
yeah, the away from home Mouse's Head.
Yes.
So yeah, it was a little bit different. She had a good time. She was working, but it sounds like it was a good atmosphere in the parks. And then again at New Year's, it sounds like the illuminations with the holiday tag was really good, and I think they have fireworks around the world as well in the order that the countries see New Year. So
very good.
So I don't know what order that would be, but a little sort of firework display for each of those, and then illuminations with the holiday tag, which she said was amazing. So yeah, it was good. It was good Christmas. It was quiet. I mean, we watched from a Disney connection point of view. It was probably more about Star Wars than anything else. So when I said I'm sitting here in my Christmas present, my eldest daughter thought it would be highly amusing to get me a pair of Stormtrooper fleecy pajamas. I guess they are. So that's what I'm sitting in, Mr. Fleecy Stormtrooper.
Funny enough, actually, we just bought, because Disney Store have been having a sale on for a few weeks. They do around Christmas, or just after Christmas, sorry, every year. And we just bought both of the kids Stormtrooper pajamas. So Alice had Stormtrooper pajamas last Christmas that she really liked, and yeah, we bought some for both. So that was rather cool.
Yeah. Yeah, all the cool kids are wearing Stormtrooper pajamas this winter.
So yeah, my Christmas was good. As it was the first one my daughter really got the magic of Christmas, so that was really special. And I think did I send a photo to you of where Father Christmas had visited the house?
You did, yes.
Left some footprints.
That was so cute.
She didn't like it because it was cold. Because it's this stuff, spoiler alert, but we used some stuff that was called like magic snow or something. So it comes in a pot like powder, and you add some water to it, and it turns into like artificial snow. So that's what we used, like around the boots that we used. But it looks like snow, and it, so in a way feels like snow as well. Like it gets quite cold, and so she liked it until she touched it. And, oh no, too cold. So we had to clear it up for her. But yeah, she had a lovely time, and got to see some family, got to see some friends. So it was a nice time overall. But yeah, it's just over too quickly, isn't it? Just as you start to get going, And I rarely get time off over Christmas. I normally get a couple of days or so, but this year I actually took off. I was off from the 23rd to the 4th of January, so I took off quite a few days. But still seems to fly by. Just yeah. So it was nice, but yes. Now you mentioned Star Wars. Before I talk about what I have been putting off about Star Wars. Have you had a chance now to see Rogue One?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Now, me and Mr. Ripley obviously talked about it on the podcast, so we're not going to go into like massive details about it. And I'm actually seeing it again this week. So by the time this episode goes out, I will probably just about be ready to go and see it again for my second time. But what was your thoughts?
Well, I really liked it. I thought it was great. I mean, I went with eldest daughter Katie and Kerry, wife, and they really enjoyed it as well. So they're not the biggest Star Wars fans. They've watched the movies and they think they're okay.
Yeah.
But we all really enjoyed Rogue One. Obviously, don't want any kind of spoilers, but yeah, I just thought it was a different story.
You can say spoilers if you want. I'll tell you why. Because if you haven't seen Rogue One by now,
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh well, there you go.
Are you going to go and see it?
Not yet, because like half of my Christmas with Ash was spent watching Star Wars from the beginning. Because I don't really watch Star Wars films.
Now, see, this is why I'm glad you said that, because the whole reason why I said, if you haven't watched by now, because I knew you hadn't seen them. So you've now started watching them, have you?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, let's go to that in a second. So sorry, Steve.
That's okay. I was just going to say that we just started tonight watching episode 7, and we've just watched them from the beginning. So we've watched 1, 2, 3. Obviously, we don't have Rogue One on DVD, so we couldn't watch 3.75. But then we watched 4, 5, 6, 7, or we're just watching 7 again now. Wow. So yeah, I did think it was really good. Some good ideas, some good characters. Obviously, lots of little nods to the original movies and little connections. And actually, I did intend to go back and see it for a second time during the holidays, but didn't manage it. But I still want to do that, and I'm kind of looking forward to spotting things, because I know I would have missed things. I know there was lots and lots and lots of little nods in there.
Well, I went to see The Force Awakens again before it came out on Blu-ray, because I was waiting for the 3D release. I knew I wasn't going to buy it on Blu-ray, and I wanted to see it again, so I was like, I'll go to the pictures to see it. And I saw it about the end of March or something. I think it was only like 1 or 2 screens a day by that point at the multiplex, but it was still showing. So anyone who's not seen it, there's still, I'd argue there's plenty of time to go and see it, because it's still the biggest. It's still number 1 in America and the UK at the moment. So it's not going anywhere for a while. So plenty of time for that. So in that case, to go from somebody who knows the films very well to and watching Rogue One, to someone who hasn't seen Rogue One but started watching Star Wars. So Amanda, where have you started? Where did you start with Star Wars?
Okay, so I obviously don't know much about the films, but Ash was gonna start me off with older ones.
Yep.
But then she changed her mind and decided that I should start with episode 1.
Okay.
So that I can follow the entire story without asking her 5,000 questions.
Okay. So you start with The Phantom Menace. So first question I've got to ask you then, did you like The Phantom Menace?
Right, I liked it.
Yeah.
I hate Jar Jar Binks.
Interesting.
Why?
Well, but I mean, the thing is, universally, I think he's hated. But for example, yeah. But like my wife, she loves Jar Jar Binks for some peculiar reason. Yeah, and I'm firmly in your camp. I think he's a terrible character. I just don't know what George Lucas was smoking when that came up.
I just felt like you could have taken all of his parts out of the film, and it would have made no difference.
Yeah,
to the story.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And the good thing is, I mean, I would argue that The Phantom Menace is probably my least favourite.
A lot of people have said that to me.
So the fact that you started there, I'll talk about all this in a second. So you saw Phantom Menace. What other ones have you seen?
I started to watch the one after that. I don't know what that's called.
That's Attack of the Clones, that one.
Okay, but I didn't manage to finish it, so I'm not watching them without her. I'm going to wait until I get back to Liverpool next week so that I can ask her questions.
No, that's good. I will pre-warn you on on Attack of the Clones. Have you ever seen John Carter?
No.
Okay, in that case, don't worry about it. If you'd seen John Carter, I'd have warned you about some stuff, but no, it's fine. Yeah, it's interesting about the orders of films, because obviously, when I first watched Star Wars, and especially when Mr. D first watched Star Wars, there was only 3 films. The middle 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we didn't have to worry about the order of the films, because 4, 5, and 6 was logical. Then we got the prequels. So you get 1, 2, and 3. And it's like, well, you know, the correct order, and the order that your sister is making you watch those in, technically is correct, because that is how
a
the
lot
story
of people
goes.
did not agree with that.
Well, I think I might have talked about this before, but I'm a big fan of what's known as the machete order. Now, I'm not sure the origins of the name machete. Well, I mean in terms of Star Wars, not in terms of what a machete is. But the machete order is 4, 5, 2, 3, 6, and then now 7. That's the order that the machete
about
order
1?
goes in. No, because most people don't like the Phantom Menace.
Okay, so they just cut that out completely with the machete.
Yeah, because basically, I mean, really, and Mr. D, your thoughts on this? I don't really think, other than introducing you to characters, Episode 1 is really relevant.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you can certainly cut it out. I mean, I don't think
Nothing drastic
you miss a lot.
Nothing drastic happens in it.
No,
Right.
I mean, I still say that the best ever lightsaber fight is in Episode 1.
Yeah.
The Darth Maul lightsaber fight, and that's you know, I've still got to watch most of Episode 7, but I don't even remember there being a better lightsaber fight than that. And there's some good scenes in it, but yeah, there's some rubbish in it as well, and in particular Jar Jar Binks.
I agree.
He's just ridiculous. I mean, even if he made it as a kids' film, he's still annoying.
Well, I think that's what he was going for, because I mean, a lot of people didn't like Ewoks. Now you'll obviously discover those a bit later on. That's not a spoiler alert, don't worry. But yeah, and when the Ewoks were introduced to Star Wars, it was seen as, oh well, it's just more action figures for George to flog, and he can do a little cartoon series, which is what he did, and he did some spin-off films and everything. And it was just kind of like a merchandise thing, aiming it at kids and blah blah blah. And I think that's what he was hoping Jar Jar Binks was going to be, like a new kid-friendly character that everyone would love. But he's just a bumbling idiot, and he's not lovable.
No.
You know. On a side note, I've actually got a signed picture of Brian Blessed, a signed picture signed by Brian Blessed of I think it's Boss Nass is his character in the Phantom Menace, mainly because he'd run out of Hawkman photos at that point, which was very disappointing. Clearly the superior role there, but yeah, nice guy. Well, that's good.
Nick?
Nick's gone.
No, Nick is talking. Nick sat on his mute button, so he's talking
right.
to thin air. No, I was just saying that. I'll do it again. I'm glad you're watching it, just because it's becoming Star Wars obviously becoming such a big thing now in Disney parks that I think it's, even if you don't like them very much, if you know a little bit about it or like bits of it, it will make that kind of experience a bit better. But
That's true, and also Ash will give me a break, because all she does is give me grief all the time.
Oh, bless.
Constantly, and then I spend my life being asked who shot first.
Well, it's
and if I don't say Han Solo, she goes cray.
Well, to be fair, you don't have much choice in that, because that's a bit of history that's tried to be rewritten.
Wow.
Disgustingly so.
Yeah.
I would still love, because I mean it's 40 years old this year. 25th of May 1977 is when A New Hope was first released in American theatres. And I still have hope that Disney will do the right thing. and I've heard that they are working on a restored cut.
We've got the version we've got. It's got both. It's got the theatrical release and then the digitized one.
Right.
So,
yes. It's got
so we watched the theatrical release.
Right.
And hand definitely shoots first.
Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, what happened was, or the story is that when George Lucas started working on the 20th anniversary release, which is when they first added the extra scenes in and the special effects. When he was working on those, he destroyed the original negatives in the process. And so those versions that are on that DVD are taken from the Laserdisc version, which is why they're a bit cropped compared to the special edition versions. But there's definitely been talk from people that have been at Lucasfilm recently that they've seen work in progresses on restored cut. So I'm hoping that'll be like the announcement that they have for like the 40th anniversary, that we are going to be able to get those in proper high definition, not just DVD quality, but proper full on original Star Wars, the way it was intended to be. With that said, obviously we've had a few weeks off and some stuff's happened, and Craig actually suggested to me for doing a little podcast, and to be honest, like over the break, and I couldn't face it. I just, every time I tried to think about doing it, I just like, I'm not in the mood to do it. And what it was going to be about is obviously on the Star Wars news front, the untimely death of Carrie Fisher, which happened just over Christmas. And it was weird. We were watching Gremlins the night she had the heart attack, because my wife had never seen it since she was a kid and scared her off for life pretty much. So we tried watching it again, and I got a news alert through to say that she'd been taken ill on a plane and had a heart attack. And after the year 2016 had been, I thought, oh, please not another one, and not her. And then then they said that she was, you heard reports she was stable, and then she was in a coma, and then she was in ICU. So it was all kind of conflicting reports. And the next day, Rick Parfitt died of status quo.
That's right, yeah.
And I kind of, it's my own fault now, I kind of joked on Brother that it might be a Final Destination thing where it's skipped past her and taken somebody else. And then she never recovered. And it upset me more than I thought it would do. I think because over the last couple of years she'd become quite, I don't want to say popular again, but you saw her a lot more. Obviously you saw her in episode 7, and she'd finished filming on episode 8 over the summer, so that film's done. But she was obviously going to be in episode 9 as well, or that's what they've said. So they're now trying to think about what they're going to do. But she was over here promoting the book and a few things, and actually she did. I think the saddest part was watching 8 out of 10 Cats, which I think she recorded a day or two before she flew back. And on that, because it was a Christmas special, they were talking about what they were going to do for Christmas, and then she was talking about her plans with her mum, and that kind of went out, and you knew that it didn't happen. Those plans that she was talking about didn't happen, and she left. She lived a strange life in the fact that she had a lot of demons, but she was very open about her battles with mental health and with drugs, which was quite refreshing. A lot of people weren't doing that when she was, and she was always quite open, and she always just seemed so witty and sharp. Like she really had a good humour to her, And the thing is, like, you know, because I was 4 when I first saw Star Wars. So I imagine you must have been a similar age, Mr. D.
Yeah, I was a bit older than that, I think.
But, you know...
In 1977.
Yeah. But watching Star Wars, you know, and she's obviously in it from the beginning of episode 4. I'd never seen a film like it, but I'd never seen a woman in a film like that. Like,
Yeah, you mean...
she had a bit of sass to her.
Yeah.
You know, in Empire Strikes Back, in that she actually, you know, had a bit of a fight to her. She wasn't just a heroine in distress. She was more than that.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I mean, like I say, we just watched episode 4 a couple of days ago, and she has a strong character, even in the first one, even in A New Hope.
Yeah, she's. I mean, although the film is essentially about them trying to rescue her, she's not really a damsel in distress. She's stuck, but I wouldn't say that she's necessarily a damsel in distress. You know, she can hold her own. Yeah, but you know, she had a great body of work. And I mean, I think what's sad as well is the fact that, you know, the day, was it the day after she died, or the day after that, but her mum died.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, her mum was Debbie Reynolds, again another famous actress. What was interesting, I think, was the fact that, and I didn't notice until this happened, is that Carrie Fisher was 19 when she got Princess Leia, which is the first Star Wars film. And that was kind of a big break, really. She did a film before that with Warren Beatty, but I think that was her major break. And her mum, her major breakthrough was Singing in the Rain, and she was 19 when she did that. So both started their careers at the, you know, or both started their fame at the same age. And watching them together, there's a documentary that HBO are making, which I think is due to be released in the spring, about them and about their relationship. You know, seeing them together in trailers of that, they look like they had such a lovely time together, and you know, it was probably that led to her dying, and it's a shame, but at the same time, you know, it probably a sense of relief as well in some ways, as morbid as that sounds, because you shouldn't have to bury your kids. But yeah, just really sad, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with episode 10, episode 9, sorry, in terms of her character, because you know, it does sound like, from what Disney was saying, is that she was going to be a part of episode 9 as well. And look, you know, that is not necessarily a spoiler, because for all we know, she could have been killed off in episode 8 and appear as a ghost in episode 9. We've got no idea. No one knows what's going to happen in episode 8 yet, so don't hear that as a spoiler. But yeah, it was just sad, and I think, you know, with her and her mum and George Michael all dying within a few days of each other, as well as everyone else that we lost in 2016 in the world of celebrity, it's just been a real kicker, and I'm glad it's over. But yeah, I'm sad for a loss, but you know, she will always be our princess, and we've always got those films to look back on. And what I do think's quite ironic is one of the things we bought in the summer was a Princess Leia dress-up costume for my daughter. That she's too small for now. I think it's 5 to 6 or something, and she's only a little dot. So it'll probably be next year or the year after that she'll be able to wear it. But yeah, I'm glad she's got it now. I think it comes with the buns as well to put in your hair. That should be quite fun. But yeah, so yeah, that's done. I obviously wanted to and we had to talk about it, but yeah, I'm glad it's done now. We can kind of focus on other bits and pieces. So for anyone that's still listening, and it's been pretty Star Wars heavy, I apologise. It will move away from Star Wars now. We'll talk more about Disney stuff, so don't worry. But was there anything that anyone wanted to particularly talk about first? Because there's been a few things while we've been away.
No, anything.
Yeah, anything.
Well,
a few newsy things.
Yeah, well, the first thing I wanted to bring up was, and only because actually a few bits have come out today, so I'm sure you guys pick up on something else, but Star Wars Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, is number one for the fourth week at the American box office. They announced today.
I love how you were like, we're moving away from Star Wars now.
But that's because it's now the worldwide gross after this weekend has now pushed it into fifth place in the 2016 worldwide grosses list of films. Now, we talked about that list probably about 6 months ago, maybe September time, and about what that top three was looking at the time. But now, because of that, the top 5 is now Disney films.
Really?
Every one of those is Disney films. So, does anybody want to start from number 1 as to what the biggest grossing Disney film has been this year? It should be obvious, but it may not be obvious. That's not right.
No idea.
Marvel? Is it Civil War?
It is Captain America Civil War was number 1. Number 2? I can tell you now that's the only Marvel one in the top 5.
Right. Well, Star Wars? Rogue One, sorry.
No,
Star Wars story.
No. Rogue One is number 5. So
is it number 5? Okay.
Bearing in mind, it's only been out for 4 weeks.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. Big 4 weeks, so.
Massive.
Well, going on that then, would it be episode 7 then?
No, because I think it's.
What does that count?
It's 2015.
Okay, so because it opened in 2015.
Yeah.
What else did we have this year? We had Moana, but that was fairly late on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that's in there somewhere.
Number 15, Moana.
Oh, 15. Oh, okay. And what else do we have?
Go on, Amanda.
I'm leaving all this to Paul because I have no idea.
You must have seen some Disney films this year, surely.
Like, not off the top of my head.
Finding Dory's number 2.
Oh, I haven't seen.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So Finding Dory's number 2, and Moana's number 15, and there's no other Marvel films in that list. What's number 3?
What else came out this year?
It's been a busy year for Disney films.
Has it?
Yeah. Number 3, Zootopia.
Yeah, okay.
Either.
And number 4 is The Jungle Book.
Right.
The live-action Jungle Book. Doctor Strange at number 11. Now, surprisingly, Alice Through the Looking Glass at 28.
Yeah, well, it didn't do that well, did it, really?
No, I expected it to be much lower than that.
Yeah.
The BFG was at number 40 on this list.
Yeah, just saw that last week.
I've not seen it yet, actually. I haven't seen that one. Pete's Dragon was 53.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, well, that's not supposed to be too bad, actually. But
yeah,
I'm surprised some of where these are, but it's the global list, which is possibly why. But yeah, so I don't think there's been another year where that's happened. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, that's
Well,
good.
somebody else can write in and tell us exactly if we are wrong.
Oh, don't
What
be
was
stupid.
the?
Unless it's Kevin Curtis Allen
Mhm.
or Lewis or possibly Vicky, no one's going to email in to,
There you go.
to correct us.
One of those three, mate.
Well, the challenge has been set, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
But I mean, either way, a bloody impressive year for Disney. Absolutely amazing. Rogue One. Right, so domestically, the biggest film of the year was Finding Dory, followed by Rogue One, which is amazing when you think about it. In 4 weeks, Rogue One has done almost the same box office business as Finding Dory did in, I don't know, it's 10, 11 weeks that it was probably open at cinemas. It's about 12 weeks now is the window, isn't it, for a film to be at cinemas still. But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
So
And that can only be good for movie fans, I think.
Yeah, but still no Tron 3. So what are you playing at Disney? You've made enough money this year, surely.
Yeah, throw in a loser. Go on.
So, Garmy Steve, what did you want to talk about?
Well, did you see the Magic Kingdom one-day dining plan news story?
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
I was literally going to bring this up, but then I was like, actually, I don't know an awful lot about the dining plan anyway, so I'm going to have to ask Paul.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's interesting. So it's a test. So I think it's only on from the 12th of January to the 22nd of February. Obviously, Magic Kingdom. They're calling it Disney Dine on the Go plan, and you can prepay for 1 day of meals. And essentially, what you get is you get one quick service meal, which needs to be used. You get like a certificate, and that needs to be used before 4 p.m. And then you get a dinner certificate, which needs to be used from 4 p.m. to park closing. And each meal is a main course or an entree and a non-alcoholic beverage and no dessert. So if I'm understanding it correctly, you basically get a main course and a drink for lunch, a main course and a drink for dinner. And the restaurants that are included in the test are Casey's Corner, Columbia Harbour House, Cosmic Rays, Starlight Cafe, Pecos Bills, and Pinocchio's Village House. And the price is $29 for adults and $12 for children aged 3 to 9. And I'm not quite sure why it's a good idea, really. I'm not quite sure. Because, okay, $29 or damn near $30 for 2 counter service main courses and 2 soft drinks. That doesn't seem like a great deal to me.
I felt like that. I felt like, isn't that just what it would cost you anyway, probably?
Pretty much. I mean, I didn't look at every menu, I must confess, but I looked at a couple of them and, okay, I'm sure there are some entrees which are up around the $15 mark. So maybe you get the drink kind of for free. But there's also some, if you look at Casey's Corner, where the entrees are like $12.50. So you're kind of breaking even. I just don't see that it's an amazing deal, and I just wonder where they're going with this. I suppose it's the prepay thing, the fact that you can pay up front and book, and then you don't need to worry about it as it gets nearer your holiday or.
But do people tend? Because I don't, but I don't know what other people do. Do a lot of people have lunch and dinner at quick service restaurants in Disney? At those restaurants in particular?
I think particularly in the Magic Kingdom, I think maybe yes, because there aren't that many table service restaurants in the Magic Kingdom. You've really only got a couple. You got Tony's and Liberty Tree Tavern, and you got Cinderella's Royal Table or the Castle. You got the Plaza, which is quite small. So there's really only sort of 4 or 5 restaurants. I think it's Skipper Canteen as well, you would call table service. But there's a lot of counter service, and Magic Kingdom is a busy park, and a lot of people don't want to take the time to, stop and have a sit-down meal. So counter service is very popular. There's no doubt about that. And if you're going to be there the whole day, then yeah, counter service lunch, counter service dinner is not a bad idea. But it just seems like the deal here isn't that great of a deal. You don't seem to be saving a massive amount of money. Personally, I wouldn't bother. I'd just go and buy what I needed to buy.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was odd. It is only a trial, so maybe they'll learn from it and come back with something a bit different. But yeah, interesting.
I was feeling like maybe they were doing this as a test to then try something where they could do a table service one as well. So maybe you could have a quick service for your lunch and then a table service for your dinner.
Yeah.
Across maybe all of the parks or all of the resort restaurants, like the regular dining plan, but obviously just a one-day one.
Yeah. And I said the tickets will be available at the ticket sale booths at the Ticket and Transportation Centre. So they're not anticipating that people are going to be, kind of pre-planning this too much. You turn up on the day, you park at the TTC, you buy your ticket for this dining plan, and off you go. Yeah, just kind of interesting. Don't quite get it.
No,
Answers on a postcard.
Well, I mean, we've talked about dining plans before, and you've done them before. I've never done one before, and I don't see myself the benefits because of what I eat when I'm there. I don't normally, I normally go for a breakfast and a dinner. Maybe a snack, like instead of a lunch.
Yeah.
I've got too much stuff to do, and it's hot, and I want to drink more than food. So I don't tend to bother. So yeah, I'm with you. I don't, other than the fact that it's paid for up front, like you say. So if you're trying to budget and you want everything paid for, then fine. And I imagine that, if you looked at the menus, you might be able to make your money on it somehow.
Yeah, there certainly are some main courses which are around the $15-16 mark. So you're kind of getting the drink for free. You could do that, but then you have to choose the most expensive thing, and that might not be what you actually feel like at the time.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't think it's necessarily a terrible idea, but I don't think it's the best one either. You could do a little bit of work, but it's a test, isn't it? So
yeah.
Okay. Right, so it's time to talk about the other sponsor we have for the After Dark Podcast Network. And gents, if you were thinking, as you have done previously and you will do again, if you was thinking about booking a trip to one of the parks that we've talked about, who would you think of asking or at least approaching?
Well, there's only one name that springs to mind only.
Wendy. So Wendy's so famous, she's only got one name, like Madonna or Cher. Well, it's not actually true. She has two, because she's got a surname as well, which is Prater. So of course, Wendy Prater at Magical Journeys Travel. We're so well prepared with this. It's like we've been practicing all day, finishing off each other's
sentences.
Sandwiches. For God's sake. This is totally unorganised. But we may be unorganised, but Wendy is not.
Oh, smooth.
You see?
I love how you did that.
That's what she's there for.
I'm a big fan of your work.
Oh, well, we're a big fan of Wendy's work, which is the point more than that. Whether you've been to Disney 1 or 100 times, there's still lots of planning involved, and I think we can all attest to that.
Yep. And our burgers are good as well.
They are. They are. And of course, now with Magic Bands, everything else is even more complex. I mean, geez, the last time I went, it was much easier than it is nowadays. So, Wendy can be the person to take away that pain of getting a reservation for Be Our Guest. Where friend of the show, that Florida guy, just tried the grey stuff.
Yeah.
Hasn't reported back yet as to what it tasted like. And you could try and get a fast pass for Anna and Elsa. Now, if us mere muggles or mortals tried to get a fast pass for Be Our Guest or Anna and Elsa meet and greets, how successful do you think we would be?
Well, I've already failed. I didn't get an ADR for Be Our Guest.
See,
So I wish I'd gone to Wendy for that one.
Wendy, not just the home of good burgers, but the home of good travel planning. So visit Wendy at wpmagicjourneys.com, or you can contact her on Twitter at wpmagicjourneys. And of course, if you mention that you heard one of our amazing podcasts, and that's how you got to hear of Wendy, she'll give you $25 off your deposit for any trip package. And our own Mr. Ripley at the moment has been on one of the Disney cruises, and she's able to offer generous onboard credits for Disney Cruise Lines as well. Something to bear in mind. So if you are thinking of making a trip, before you go anywhere else, go and find Wendy Pratt at Magical Journeys Travels, wpmagicjourneys.com.
Because if you don't, you'll feel like a brat.
Manda.
My one's pretty exciting.
Ooh.
Okay, so the usual welcome show at Rope Drop and Magic Kingdom is no more as of yesterday, because the new Let the Magic Begin show started today. So now nobody has to stand at the front of Magic Kingdom anymore in the morning for like 45 minutes waiting for the train show. You can go into Magic Kingdom, right in, up to the castle, and you're going to be greeted by a brand new stage show.
Now, was it just last week they announced this?
It was very recently.
Yeah.
Very, very recently.
Yeah, like there, normally these things there's a bit of warning. Now, before we talk about the new show, I want to tell you about my first time I ever went to Disney World. Okay.
Okay.
So I'd spent, I'd been to Disneyland Paris by this point a lot, almost into double figures, I think, by that point. And this was our first time going there, and we was really excited. My wife had been once before, but we was really excited. She wanted to make sure that we were there first thing in the morning. We didn't know there was an opening ceremony or anything like that. And we just upped and went, and we were actually staying on iDrive the first time we went, so we had to get up mega early, get a bus into the Magic Kingdom, to the transportation centre, and then get the monorail from there, and which was fine. And then we got on the monorail, and as we was coming up to the park, we could see the train, and if you could see the train, you could see all the characters on the train. And I was like, sorry, there's no reason why Thomas Hankins is playing except my dog was on a musical book that we've got. That wasn't for ambience. So we saw the characters on the train, and they started waving. And I was like, oh my God, it is absolutely magic.
Oh.
Now, I was 25 or so at the time, 24, something like that. So, I shouldn't have necessarily felt that way about it, but I did. I was like, oh my God, this is really magical. Even though I've done Disney a load of times, because they don't do that at Disneyland Paris. So nothing, never anything to that extent that I've ever seen anyway. And so for that, I've always got a bit of a soft spot for it. But I also appreciate the kind of congestion that it can cause. So I felt in two minds about this change. Now, you said the first show was today. Did you actually see the first show?
I watched it on a live stream this afternoon.
Yep.
So someone was live streaming it on Facebook as it was happening. Basically, they were let into the park about half an hour before the show was going to start. I don't know whether that's going to be all the time, or whether it was just because it was the first one and they were anticipating a lot of people.
I think it was our friend Corinne, wasn't it?
I didn't watch Corinne.
Oh, right. I think she did it as well, though.
I think it was just called Disney Streaming or something like that I watched. But he was in there for about half an hour before it came on, and then he streamed the entire thing, and it was lovely. It was a really nice show. So basically, it's nothing like it was before. You have a royal herald that comes out and gives a little speech, and then all of the princesses come out. The fairy godmother comes out on the balcony of the castle, and it's a very, very short show. It's about 3 minutes long. And then you have fireworks, but my only worry about it is that there's going to be so many people in the hub, and I know that they're all just going to run straight to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Like, I know that's what's going to happen. And so I'm just worried about getting trampled by prams.
So I've seen like some reaction of these videos. I haven't actually watched one myself. I saw 10 seconds of one while I was just skipping through, but I didn't actually watch a whole one. But I've seen a lot of negativity.
Yeah, so have I. And I mean, I guess that you're going to get that with any change that Disney make lately. People seem to like jump on the negativity train, but it's a nice show. And things change, and people will be over it in a week.
They're not gonna throw away their annual passes.
Surely not.
Yeah. Fair enough. Speaking about changes, there's been another few things. Going back to Disneyland Paris, yesterday, Mickey and the Magician. Is it called that? Well, the Mickey Magic Show that took over from Animagique in the Disney Studios, that closed yesterday. Now it's only a small closure. I think it reopens the end of March or something, or the middle of March.
Oh, I thought you meant it closed forever.
No. But it's closing for a few weeks, and then it's going to reopen until September, and then it's going to go dark again. Now, there's not kind of any rhyme or reason to it. There's not kind of been any announcements of why this is. I don't know if it's a cost saving measure. I've got no idea if they're changing the show after September. It's just that they've said that it's reopening in March and then closing down again in September. But it seems very strange to me that a show which they ran for 14 years or so, pretty much every day, gets changed to a new show which isn't even open fully for a year before it goes down. And the signage has changed. It's not like it's like a temporary thing. It's been made to look like it's a permanent change, but yeah, it's going down again. I don't understand what they're trying to do. I don't get it.
Tier controls, improvements.
Well, that's the only thing I can think of possibly is that. They do that with musicals, don't they? Where they have like rehearsals, and then they decide to change some songs or change some scenes because it's not working or it's not paced right or whatever. But it just seems odd that it's going down now, reopening again, and then going down again in September. And they haven't announced when it's reopening. Just seems odd. I don't know. But that wasn't the only ride to go down, because today also saw the closure of Space Mountain Mission 2 in Disneyland Park. So that's also gone. That's due to reopen around about the end of March, early April. There's been no firm date on that at all. I think they'd probably like to get it open around the same time as Star Tours, but they won't. And my betting is that it will be around about in time for the anniversary rather than another time in April. But it will depend on how long it takes, because it's obviously being upgraded to Hyperspace Mountain.
Yeah.
Much to the joy of lots of people, apparently. I don't think something like this has divided so many people in a long time. But for me personally, and I was having this row with someone on Facebook the other week. Once they changed Space Mountain to Space Mountain Mission 2, it stopped being the Jules Verne attraction it was in the first place. It just seemed quite generic after that. It didn't seem anywhere near as fun. So I don't actually care that Mission 2's gone. You know, I probably would have liked it more if they were changing it back to the original version. But from a Star Wars point of view, as a fan, yeah, why not? I think it worked really well. So
Yeah.
that's down for a few weeks.
Yeah.
What else have we lost? Lost other
I
rides.
don't know about Lost. What about what's coming? Well, actually, there's a couple of scurrilous rumours. One is the
hang
great
on,
movie ride.
Well, hang on. Before we do, we did lose another ride over in California because the Haunted Mansion, the Tower of Terror,
Yeah.
Makes me so upset.
finally gone. After months of us knowing it was going soon. It doesn't, because I mean, we've still got the Orlando one, and that's the best one, and we've still got the Paris one, which was the same as the California one. So, you know, the fact it's a little bit like when they took ET out of Universal Studios Hollywood. You've still got ET in Orlando. So, while it's a shame that you're still able to go on that original attraction.
No, that's like saying it's fine that they got rid of Jaws at Universal because it's still in Japan. Because I can't easily fly to Japan.
But I didn't say anything about Japan. I'm still talking about the same continent.
But I didn't want to go to California.
Why not?
I want to ride it in Orlando.
No.
I never lived in California. And like, I didn't want to fly to Orlando and ride it. Yeah.
Have they still got Jaws in California?
They have, but it's not a ride, is it? It's part of the tour.
No, it's like the studio tour.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like one scene from the Orlando attraction. Is what you get on that tour. So yeah, I mean it's nowhere near as fun. Whilst yes, you're quite correct. Japan still has the original attraction. So yeah, look. I like the Twilight Zone. We've had this discussion. We had Mark Silverman on, who was a brilliant guest. While it's still other parts, I'm okay. It's when they announced that Guardians is such a great ride that they're replacing it in all their locations. That's when I'll start to feel a bit worse. And I'll be so torn because I love Guardians. That's the thing. They're replacing with something I love.
Yeah, just keep the Florida one. Do what you like with the other ones, because the thing is, once you've ridden the Florida Tower of Terror, Twilight Tower of Terror, and then you ride any of the other ones, it is a little bit of a disappointment. You know, it's not the same ride.
No, fully agree.
Yeah.
And look, while that Marvel loophole thing's still in place with Universal, I can't see it changing anytime soon. But yeah, so let's not count our chickens. But Paul, you said that you'd heard some new rumours. So go on.
Well, scurrilous rumours really, but Great Movie Ride is obviously sponsored these days by Turner Classic Movies, so there's a rumour that they won't renew that, and that ride could be changed, which would be a shame because that is a classic ride. It certainly needs to be updated. There's no doubt about that. Some of the scenes are really getting a bit tired, like Alien and a couple of the other ones, Tarzan. That poor guy has just been swinging on that rope, for years. But it would be nice if it was originally a movie theme park. It is a classic ride, even though it isn't as old as like some of the other classic rides, like Carousel of Progress. But to a lot of people, it is a sort of classic Hollywood Studios ride.
If we was losing one, I'd much rather lose Carousel of Progress. I know it's more, but I've never been a fan. I mean, Great Movie Ride has been there since day one, isn't it? Since the park originally opened in '89. So it would be a shame. But yes, well, I think a lot of people would like to see the Alien scene go because it still scares me. But yeah, I'm man enough to admit that. But Yeah, I think it would be a shame if it went, but I think it needs a lot doing to it to kind of bring it up to speed. I think the problem is you're right. You know, it was supposed to be a studios park. You know, if we remember, you know, the reason for them doing it was to try and catch Universal on the hop while they were building their park down the road, which in turn was supposed to be a replica of the Hollywood version, the Hollywood park. So it was supposed to be a studios with theme park attractions.
Yeah.
And, you know, there wasn't that much filmed at Disney's MGM. I mean, famously, WCW Wrestling was taped there for quite a few years. And, you know, we talked about some of the Hulk Hogan shows, but they didn't do that much there compared to what they filmed in Universal, which really was much more like a studio. And over the years, you know, well, I mean, Universal, they still have some sound stages. I only had one beer, Jesus Christ.
It's easy for you, Sam.
Tell me about it. They still have some sound stages, yay, that they use for production, not just for Halloween Horror Nights. So that's still a studios, but I do feel the identity of what Walt Disney Studios, as it's now known, is. And I don't think it knows what it wants to be anymore, really, other than a park where anything that's related to movies or TV gets to have an attraction. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason anymore to it.
Yeah. I don't think it's good that there's still a live action element to it. You know, you've got the two scenes, the gangster scene and the western scene, and there is actually a cast member who does a bit of a spiel. So it's nice to see that it's not just 3D high definition screens.
Agreed.
A la Universal. You know, anyway, in theory, or if this rumour's correct, they'd keep the facade, the Chinese theatre facade, and do something with the inside. But we shall see. And the second rumour was about something opening, which is more positive. And you know, obviously Pandora, the world of Avatar, is scheduled to open this year. We can now say this year. And Disney have just said summer 2017, but there were some tickets released, discounted tickets, a 3-day ticket or a 4-day ticket. And interestingly, these are released every year, but interestingly, there's some blackout dates for May the 27th to the 9th of June, but only for the Animal Kingdom. So the rumour there is, well, why only the Animal Kingdom for those dates? Could Pandora be open for Memorial Day weekend, which is the last weekend in May?
Well, I saw a thing today that said that The View is going to be filmed at Animal Kingdom for 4 days in March. So I'm feeling like we might get some sneak peeks at Pandora in March of The View, and then probably will open maybe the next month.
Well, I've seen some behind-the-scenes footage, because Disney have been releasing little videos, haven't they? Across social media. So, I mean, what I will say is the animatronics look phenomenal.
Yes.
You know, we have pretty much pulled down our pants and pooped on this whole land since it was first announced on the
Figuratively. No, well, Craig might have actually done it. We don't know.
Well, you never know with Craig.
What he does on the other side of that microphone is his business. And he's probably done his business.
No, man, I'm literally talking when it was me and that guy who got stuck in a toilet for a year. When we first started the show, even before Mr. D came along, you know, we've been pretty harsh on it. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, because I think whenever a park opens a new land or new attractions, you know, obviously there's like initial bars and ridiculous queue times for things, but I wonder how long it's going to keep up for, especially because when this was originally planned, and when this was gonna be open, Avatar 2 would have been out, and Avatar 3 would have been coming out, and they haven't started filming Avatar 2 yet.
Yeah.
Or 3, 4, 5, because apparently that's what they're doing. But so Avatar came out in 2009, and here we are in 2017 with a park about to be open based on that film, which already people have started to care less and less about every year, and there's not even a new film to bring back the interest.
Yeah, it's very strange, isn't it?
But at the same time, what they look to have done looks very, very impressive.
Yeah.
I did hear somewhere though, might have even been on one of our friends' podcasts, like Grim Grinning Host, that it was co-financed. So it's not that Disney have financed the whole project. It's actually like a shared project with Fox.
Yeah. The interesting thing, though, is that if they make the subsequent films, well, if they don't make the subsequent films, then you've got a land which is themed based on a film that, although was hugely successful, isn't that great and isn't that Disney-centric. And then if they do make the subsequent films and they aren't very good, then you've got a land based on more films that aren't very good. So I know people have said, well, you could just retheme it and, it just becomes something else. But, nobody's going to forget that it's themed on Avatar, really. With those floating mountains and things like that. It's very, kind of linked to Avatar. So the whole thing's really odd. It just seems like, well, I think we've talked about it before, that it's like they jumped on it when they didn't have Star Wars, before they had Star Wars, and Universal had Harry Potter, and they felt they had to jump on something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, we actually, this rumour will probably be correct, May 27th to June 9th, and the reason why I'm pretty sure it'll be correct is we are out there in May, and we come back on May 25th. So,
Wait, Paul, when do you get there?
May the 6th, I think.
Oh, I'll see you there, mate.
Yeah.
Yay!
Hey.
In part meetup.
Yeah.
I'll meet you in the Rose and Crown.
No, I'm not going to Disney.
Aren't you?
No, I'm saving that for September. I'm just going to Universal. But if Avatar opens early, I'll buy a one-day ticket.
Aye. Yeah.
Oh, you're doing Universal meetup, sod that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Who likes Universal anyway? Evening Lee, evening Tracy. And of course Hunter. Now, Amanda, I think you were going to tell us about something else that's been changing or is going to be changed.
Okay, I've got two things actually.
Ooh.
The first thing is the Kermit balloon from Muppet Vision is going.
Why is it going, Amanda?
Because they don't want to see Kermit's face from Star Wars Land.
They're bringing it back around.
You could change it to Jabba the Hutt. It looks a bit like Jabba the Hutt.
Maybe they're repurposing it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this earlier because that's the rumor I heard. Oh, sorry, that's the reason I heard as well. Is that I just didn't. I don't know why I don't try and paint it. Because if you think, isn't that what I've done with the Tower of Terror?
What if they just painted it like a giant Death Star?
Well, that's what I'm like. So the Tower of Terror, you can see from Epcot, can't you?
Yeah.
You can see it. I think is it Morocco?
Yeah. Like if you're stood near Mexico and you look over, it looks like it's part of Morocco.
Yeah. But that's what I mean.
I literally tell everyone that when I'm drunk in Mexico.
but they've tried to theme it. So I was surprised they didn't just try and do the same thing there. Just try and decorate the back of the balloon.
Yeah.
So do you feel like they're going to just phase Muppets out?
Sorry,
I mean, I love it. I think it's great, but it has been there a long time, and
I really
I'd
thought
hate to
they were
see
going
it
to go
go.
with it, but then they opened Pizza Rizzo, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
no, not.
See, it just seems very short-sighted. Well, no, it does. The whole thing seems short-sighted in that I am a fan of the Muppets. I do like the Muppets, but the second film flopped. The first one was obviously a big hit. The second film didn't do so well. But to feel sorry for James Bobin, because he directed the second Muppets film, which did really badly, and then he directed Alice Through the Looking Glass, which did pretty badly. And having watched it, I don't think it's necessarily his fault. It looks very good, but story's pony. But yeah, I mean, the second film flopped for the Muppets, and then they did a TV series, didn't they? A lot of hype about the TV series, cancelled after one season. And now they're doing nothing with the Muppets. They can't do another film because it's not been long enough for the stench of Muppets Most Wanted and its failure to do anything else with it. The TV series has just flopped, so they can't do anything on TV for a little bit of time. Apparently, I heard they're bringing back Muppet Babies.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
I think either late this year or next year, Muppet Babies is coming back. I think possibly either Disney Junior or Disney Channel. I think that's going to be on. So, which is fine. Muppet Babies has always been a bit of a separate thing anyway. But my point there is that if you haven't got anything with the Muppets going on, like proper Muppets, does it need to be there? It's obviously not very successful anymore. And then you just go and open a restaurant next door.
I know that's it.
That should
And
have
they
opened
can't just
5 years ago.
retheme that now.
No, if they'd have done that 5-10 years ago, that would have made sense. Doing it.
I've
after the
heard
Muppets
nothing but really bad things about Pizza Rizzo, and I'm really upset about it.
I didn't like Pizza Planet though.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like Pizza Planet.
It was all right because obviously I find it difficult to eat in Disney parks. So if somewhere sells pizza, I'm down with it. But I was really excited about Pizza Rizzo, and I was heartbroken when it wasn't open when I was there. But every single person that I've spoken to has been like, Amanda, don't even waste your time because it's so bad.
I can't see it being that bad. I can't. I bet it's exactly what you expect it to be. To be honest,
I don't know.
Which is Pizza Planet rethemed. I can't see being much difference to that.
Really?
But I suppose you have to go and find out. There's
Okay.
only one way. But I don't know. But then what do you do with that area? What do you replace Muppets with?
A ride?
I mean, you could start. I mean, remember they did pins and things like that, and I think they did figures, which was a Star Wars Muppets mashup.
Yes, I did. I had some of the figures. Yeah,
it's going to be on the border of Star Wars land, so maybe you could retheme the movie to some kind of 3D Star Wars Muppet.
That's a point. They've just done the history show, haven't they, as well, with the Muppets?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you mean in the Magic Kingdom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's odd.
They had the little Muppet Mobile Lab in Epcot when we were there as well.
Yeah, the Muppet Mobile, which hadn't been there for years, has come back out. It's very odd. Somebody at Disney World at the moment has a real hard on for the Muppets, which is nice, but
not really, because they're getting rid of the Kermit balloon.
Well, yeah, but a small sacrifice. Maybe that was the sacrifice they made. All right, we're going to get rid of the balloon, but we'll throw everything else Muppets out there. But yeah, I mean, there was always the rumour as well that, I mean, this was early on as well, that a great movie ride was going to be the Great Muppet Ride.
Oh, no.
And what they were... Yeah. No, man, it was going to be good, because essentially what they were going to do was, if you think about the Great Movie Ride, they were going to Muppet that. So it would have been the Muppets replacing, like, Indiana Jones. So it'd be like...
I'd hate that.
Why?
That would be rubbish.
No, that's what they used to do, Muppet Babies.
No. Rubbish.
It is. Muppet
What
Baby.
you actually want is you want to build another one behind it, which is the Muppet one. So you could go in either. You can go on the Great Movie Ride, or you can go on the Great Muppet Movie Ride.
Yeah.
So it's like an alternative. Anyway, also Mama Melrose, that was going to be a Muppet themed restaurant.
What?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they were going to have little trains that I think would deliver your food. Little trains that would go around the restaurant.
Mama Melrose is like the only place that I enjoy eating, so I'd be really angry if that happened.
Oh no, this was like original concept. I think before it was Mama Melrose, it was going to be a Muppet restaurant.
Oh my god.
Never happened.
Oh, if you wanted Muppet news, we've got plenty.
There you go, Star Wars Muppets.
The last thing I wanted to just talk about, bearing in mind that we're running a little bit over now, so I'll speed up, is Beauty and the Beast. Another trailer's come out, another tease, some singing has happened.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
What,
Emma.
are we still looking forward to it?
I'm
Yeah.
so excited. I've got a mum date ready in March when it comes out.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I don't understand why people are so angry about it.
I'm dead excited. I'm not usually massive on the live action Disney films, but
No.
I'm excited about this.
I think with this one though, they've tried to make it look like Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Like all the costume, the costumes that she wears are the same as the cartoon. Pretty, with a little bit of an exception, obviously, where it's got to be translated to real life. I think it's interesting what they've done with the objects.
Mm-hmm.
What's really annoyed me though is there's a poster which Disney released on their Facebook page revealing what the objects look like in human form.
I haven't seen that.
Don't look for it.
Okay.
Because why do you want to have that spelled for you?
Mm.
That's just odd to me. I don't understand that at all. Very, very weird from whoever decided to launch that. Sorry. Was there anything else that anyone wanted to bring up?
Yes. I'm really excited about this one, but I'm really jealous that I can't be there. So, Epcot have launched a brand new festival called Epcot's Festival of the Arts, and it's going to go from the 13th of Jan till the 20th of February. And basically, you're going to have all kinds of Broadway singers and actors putting on shows in the America Pavilion. There's all kinds of different artistic foods, all kinds of different workshops that you can attend. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it does look good.
It looks so good.
They've done
Some
lots
good
of
merchandise
before,
as well.
haven't they? They've done like
They
a
used
before.
they used to do something at what was Downtown Disney, and that was around the
yes.
October time.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
That was a festival of arts. I don't think it was called that, but something like that.
Well, this looks incredible. Like, I'm literally looking at pictures of the food that they're going to be selling, and it looks even better than Food and Wine.
Well, then you've got a sort of Food and Wine during Flower and Garden when we're there, Amanda, in May. So you're
just trying to make me buy Disney tickets for May, and I'm going to end up doing it.
I think you should. It's for your own good, But,
Research
it's just going to be. They're just going to keep the food and wine booths there the whole year, but then they'll change like the marketing on them. There'll be this festival, that festival, the next festival.
I don't even mind that. If there's food there and there's wine there, I'm happy.
That's why you like Food and Wine so much, don't you?
Exactly. It's got everything that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Food, wine, Spaceship Earth, my kind of time. But they've launched loads of special merchandise as well for it, and it's all Figment based.
Yeah.
Everything's got Figment on it.
I told you,
And
whoever's
you
there
saw
at
it
the
at the
moment loves
Imagination Pavilion.
It's so cute.
Seems like it.
It looks really exciting, so I'm really jealous of everyone that's going to be there in this month and next month.
Does sound pretty good actually.
Yeah.
I do like a show tune, which only adds to the mystique around my true sexuality. really admitting to that. I met someone the other day that I like steps and take that as well. I promise you, it means nothing. It really doesn't. It really doesn't.
It means everything.
Paul, was there anything else that you wanted to end with?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah, we've got just looking forward to our next trip really now. Starting to plan that. So we've got 4 months to go. 4 months yesterday, not that I'm counting.
I'm still trying to work out when I'm going to Disneyland Paris next, because I won't be going to Orlando this year. But it's such a shame, because I would have, if things were different, I would have been trying all my hardest to have convinced my wife that we need to go to Orlando in April, so she can go to Disney and I can go to WrestleMania. But won't be happening this time around. Next WrestleMania at Orlando, I'm sure. But just a quick thing which I mentioned in passing before what I wanted to end with. So Tillicum died at the weekend.
No, the orca, the killer whale,
the famous killer whale.
Yeah.
From SeaWorld, who was of course the main subject of Blackfish, the documentary which has financially crippled SeaWorld. So yeah, he died at 36. Been ill for a little bit. But, yeah, so he's gone. But no, I just wanted to end on something I haven't done for a while, which is me getting on my soapbox. So I'll cue up the music.
It's Soap Dishes Soapbox!
And yeah, so unfortunately, as they do in The Lion King, it's a circle of life, which means that I'm going back to how this show started, unfortunately going back to a little bit of Star Wars. So one thing we didn't talk about is that Disneyland Paris having Seasons of the Force, which is their Star Wars celebration thing that's happening in Disney Studios. It's just Disney Studios, isn't it, in Paris? Yeah. In a couple of weeks. The stage is already set up just by the Tower of Terror around there, so you can see pictures of that online if you want to. And it's going to be a nighttime show and character meet and greet. You're going to be able to meet Darth Vader permanently, and there'll be stormtroopers marching about. Oh, it'll be a lot of fun. And it's going on till March. And somebody was moaning about the fact that they're trying to. There's a bit of a campaign at the moment to make Princess Leia a Disney princess, and how Star Wars has no place in Disney and all this kind of stuff. And somebody gleefully said, "Oh well, I changed my dates to go to Disneyland Paris so I can avoid Seasons of the Force. So I'm going in April." And I said, "Oh, did you not see this news story? Because it's already been extended to the end of September." So before it's even started, they've extended it, which is great news, because it means I've got more chance to go. But yeah, a lot of people are moaning about Star Wars and how it doesn't belong in Disney, and it's getting on my nerves. And I'll tell you why. Because Star Tours as a ride has been in Disney parks now for 30 years. 1987 it first opened in Disneyland. So, and from Disneyland Paris, it's been there since day one. And Disney's Hollywood Studios, it's been there since it first opened as well. So there are parks where Star Wars has always been there. And Disney have always done Star Wars merchandise in those parks as well. Now, that's obviously ramped up as they've, actually now bought Lucasfilm, so Star Wars is now their property. And, there's always been Mickey merchandise, Star Wars stuff, and that's increased. But this isn't a new thing. It's just, more and more things are happening. And it's popular, and people don't seem to like it. But to me, Disneyland and a Disney park is a place for everybody. And there are things in Disney parks that I don't like. I don't particularly like It's a Small World. I don't particularly like the Snow White ride or the Pinocchio ride. But there are people that love those attractions. And I wouldn't want to take that away from somebody. But at the same time, Star Wars is bloody popular. Star Wars brings Disney a hell of a lot of money. And so I don't understand why there's this thing about Star Wars shouldn't be there. To be honest, I honestly think this year will be quite telling with Disneyland Paris. It's the 30th anniversary, and also it's a big Star Wars assault in terms of what they're putting into Discovery Land and Seasons of the Force. I honestly think it's going to bring more people into the park. And Disneyland Paris need all the visitors they can get. Not because it's empty all the time, but just they need the money. So therefore, they are doing what the public wants. And just because you don't like Star Wars, and Amanda, I know you haven't been a Star Wars fan, you've never seen a Star Wars film until recently, but I'm sure even you can agree that if something's there, you don't have to do it.
That's true.
You don't have to go on Star Tours if you don't want to. No one's forcing you onto those rides. No one's forcing
Unless you're with us, she'll make you go on Star Tours.
Unless you're with somebody that wants to go on it. Yeah, that's of course the point. But, you don't have to go and meet Darth Vader if you don't want to. You don't have to do these things. You can go to Disneyland without doing anything Star Wars, in the same way that I can go to Disneyland and not go on Snow White or Pinocchio. It's a free choice. But why you'd want to spend your time belittling people for wanting to have something that's Disney owned as well now, whether you like it or not, in their park, makes me mad.
I agree.
Just don't get it. I just do not get it. Anyway, next episode, no Star Wars talk.
Right.
It's going to be Universal.
Yes, the next show will be, of course, Universal, over on our sister podcast channel, Universal After Dark, which, if you're not subscribing to, please do. Ash? That's because she said Ash so many times now. Amanda, I've not even spoke to Ash. Amanda, Paul, thank you very much for joining me here in the Mouse's Head. Thank you, dear listener, for doing it. Coming up for you, I can tell you that we are going to be having a trip report soon, once we get down some details of somebody who's been to both Hong Kong Disneyland and Shanghai Disneyland.
Oh,
nice. Yes.
It's not Paul Boniface.
This time it's not Paul Boniface. No, it is somebody completely different. So stay tuned for that. That will be coming on an episode soon. Thank you, and we will see you in a couple of weeks' time.
bye.
Take care. Bye-bye now.
This podcast is part of the After Dark Podcast.